Okay, hello class. So this is going to be a quick video to just break down the US History Regents. I'm going to go through in more detail on other videos some of the short essay questions and the civic literacy essay, but this is just a quick breakdown for if you're taking the Regents, you need a little bit of just the facts. The Regents is broken into three parts. The multiple choice is worth 28 points. There are two short essays. Each is worth 5 points for a total of 10 points. And then part three is the civic literacy essay. It has 6 short answer questions and then the essay. The essay will actually determine where you start on the scoring rubric, but we'll save that for another period. So there's 3 parts to this essay. What is on the test or what's tested the most? Well, this is the data we have so far. There's only been 2 official regencies as of January 2024. So you'll notice that some units, like the colonial era Unit 1, is not tested very heavily. So far, that's also true for Unit 8. But it's important to notice that with only 2 tests, this data is not really very reliable yet. It's not very predictive of what future tests will be like. But if you're wondering what should I study based off of the past 2 exams, the American Revolution, the early years of the country with expansion and sectionalism leading to the Civil War, the rise of American power, the imperialism and World War I unit, and then the domestic changes unit, looking at changes in American society and the Civil Rights Movement. Most of the test uses primary source documents. Over 68% of the stimuli on the test are primary sources. So analyzing and breaking down primary sources and knowing their context and circumstances is crucial. The majority of the documents are text-based with some visuals and maps and other things mixed in there too. For the timing, the real key for this timing is that you need to know yourself, okay? You need to know if the multiple choice gives you a difficult time, use more time there. You should also know if you can really answer the multiple choice very accurately, but it's going to take more time, you should use more time there. If you know that you could write a great essay, but you're going to need to take a little bit more than this time, then you'll have to be able to do that. But this is the recommendation for a 3-hour exam, breaking down the points and the strength of the essay to determine your starting point. I really recommend, just for example, for the regular time, taking about an hour and 15 minutes for the multiple choice questions. Again, if you know you can get more of them right accurately, then take a little bit more time and shave off from some of the others. Only 12 minutes for each of the short essay questions. They're only worth 5 points. So you don't want to take more time on them. And the civic literacy essay should be about an hour and 20 minutes. The truth is, it's very hard to write a full essay in less than an hour. You want time to analyze those 8 documents and answer those 6 document questions to get those 6 points. And also be aware if you have double time or time and a half, how much time you should take on each task. So really briefly going through the short essay questions. The goal for both short essay questions is that you have to describe the historical context or historical circumstances, telling us based on these 2 documents what was going on in America during this time period. Was it the American Revolution? Is it the Cold War? Is it like Manifest Destiny? In addition to 1 paragraph about the historical context or circumstances, you should identify the relationship between the 2 documents. You can identify the relationship between the documents, between ideas in these documents, and you should write focusing on like the similarities and differences of the documents, or how one or both of the documents represent a turning point in America, or how one idea causes or affects another one. We'll break this down in more detail in other videos. The short essay question 2 is really about assessing reliability. They're going to ask you one of the documents, is it reliable? Could it be used as a reliable source of historical evidence? But before that, again, you're describing the historical context. So just like with short essay question 1, you are first describing the historical circumstances, telling us what's happening in America with these 2 documents for the SEQ2, and then they will ask you to analyze one of the documents to see if it's reliable or not, keeping in mind audience, purpose, bias, or point of view. Again, we'll have another video on this. The OPCVL technique is very, very useful here to assess reliability, and we'll save that for another day. These short essay questions are only worth 5 points. Then, finally, the civic literacy document-based essay. This is the long, full-length essay where you describe historical circumstances again, explain 2 efforts to address the issue, and then evaluate those documents. This is something really useful for all of the questions. This is something that I'm going to highlight for the multiple choice as well, but it's really true to point out for the essay documents. You do want to read the question first, then review the source, and then read and annotate the document to answer the question and to use it in your essay. You also want to record outside information while you look at each document for the civic literacy essay. This technique is also really important for the multiple choice. We're just going to look at a practice test here really quickly. And see how would you attack a multiple choice question. So if you're looking at this document, you might think you read it first, then look at the source, and then look at the questions. You want to do the exact opposite. Okay, you really want to read the questions first, so you have a purpose for reading the document. So you want to see, okay, what are we talking about here? The events described in this account can be considered a turning point in history. Okay, I'm going to look at this document for turning point. And based on the information provided, which claim is most plausible. Okay, so I'm looking for what is the turning point in this document, and I'm looking for what's a plausible or possible claim you could use this document to make, right? After you read the questions, you want to look at the source. You want to see who made this document. When was it made? Is it a primary source? The OPCVL technique will really help here if you can do it quickly. And so after you look at the source and identify some of its origins and purposes and values, then you read the actual document. Again, you're not reading this document for full mastery. You're really only reading this document to look at how to answer these 2 questions or 3 questions or however many questions there are. This technique repeats again and again. It doesn't matter if it's a primary source document. If it's a map, you want to look at the questions first, then the source, then the stimuli or documents, and then answer the questions. One thing about the multiple choice on the US History Regents is that it's chronological. So it will begin with questions on the colonial era or the American Revolution, move into the Constitution and expansion, and on and on and on. So this is one really important thing to know for the multiple choice, is the questions first, the source second, and then the document itself third. Finally, I want to highlight some of the resources and the study guide here. This is the newest iteration of the study guide that Mrs. Merritt and many others have collaborated on over the years, and we've tweaked it a little bit for 2024. The main recommended tools are highlighted in yellow. Okay, so there's a review packet. It's a very great brief look at U.S. history. That is your number one go-to. The Regents breakdown is what we actually just saw in the slides here. There's the practice regions, which I just showed you a few examples of the multiple choice through. And all these other things are really up to you, right? Do you benefit from looking at the key vocabulary or by looking through and printing out flashcards? Right, you can review the multiple choice strategies. You can look through other review websites. There are other review activities and games, but the key are the things in yellow. There's an answer key for these multiple choice questions, and then linked under the review activities are for each unit different activities and mock Regents questions, right? There's an answer key for all of these, but this is a really great tool. And you should really prioritize the items in yellow first. And then, of course, right, if you like to use the videos, those can be really useful. If you know you need to focus on SEQ2 or SEQ1, these other sections will be useful. So you have a couple different tools here, and I hope this video was useful to you too. All right, see you later.